Welcome to the BVTV Network, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. This is episode 3 in the BVTV Aspire Trilogy with executive coach and author of the book, Aspire. So, hello, sadly for the final time, Reiner Lomb.
Hello, Malcolm, again.
Yeah, well, listen, I thought in episode 2, you told it brilliantly about the foundation and everything, about change and everything. I thought you crystallized it really, really well. But in this uncertain and constantly fluid business world, leaders are possibly exhausted by the constant barrage of challenges. This is where I believe the ability to be resilient becomes important. And you address the need for resilience in your Aspire book, and it's the 7th, isn't it? So can you give us your thinking on becoming resilient, please?
Yeah, we all experienced it in the last 2 to 3 years, right? We have the normal rate of exponential change going on all the time in these times, and then on top of that, we have a pandemic, and we have this sudden war, and we have the inflation as a result of that, and an up and down in the financial world, and so all affecting business. It is crazy. It's crazy for leaders. I meet one day with a leader, we talk about strategy and vision, and they put their plans together, and the next day they need to change everything. They need to change their plans because of that. And I can imagine your listeners too. And I had so many of my clients, both startup companies, mid-sized companies, leaders in large corporations, as well as in communities, that have been struggling all with the same thing. They suddenly, from one day to the next, so they needed to look at their own resilience, to be resilient, but also help their organizations to be resilient, to be very aware that they need both, but they also live in a family or in a community. And so that's another dimension. When they come home in the evening, or when they stayed at home and were working from home, to make sure that their environment was also resilient. So it's basically a 3-dimensional problem. Right. And so what I found over the years, and this is also backed by research, and that's why I dedicated such a large chapter to that, and practices and how to do it, is that, and from an emotional perspective, it is the positivity that drives, and that's measured, that drives resiliency. So if you hit with a sudden adversity, something unexpected, and it throws you emotionally off balance, you will not be able to see possible solutions as easily as if you are in another emotional state that is more supportive of that. And intuitively, that makes sense for all of us, but also having the science behind that gives it more weight. And it has been proven again and again. Now, positivity is, other than the other 6 emotions, is a palette of positive emotions. And they include, and there's a large range. You could think about like 10 or 20 or 30 of them. But examples would be like gratefulness. Examples would be hope. Let's say if we're in a desperate situation, we still cultivate some hope to keep going and get out of bed in the morning. Joy, amusement sometimes, laughter can help us. And awe and interest, which is also part of the 7, optimism, and all those. So there's more. The point is that you can consciously observe yourself, what emotional state I am in this desperate situation, in this adversity, in this, rocks have been thrown at me in the business world. And is that useful right now for what I try to do and help everybody else to stay resilient, and so to show the leadership behavior that helps everybody to be resilient, and myself and my family? Or if not, what emotions can I move to? I had an example, if you don't mind if I share, but during the pandemic, I had 2 personal tragedies in my family. So 2 of my siblings died tragically, unexpectedly, 1 year apart from each other. And I had to sit back, and obviously I started immediately the grieving process, and then it was renewed when the second death happened. But I have clients, I have a family, I have the larger family, including in Germany, people, it happened in Germany, to support remotely and go there and so on. But also had to take care of myself, my own health. I was working on the book, and I thought, how I'm going to do this. I was in the middle of writing this chapter about resiliency, and it gave me a whole different appreciation and depth of it. And it was all connected, because how I'm going to respond to those events that are a total drawback during the pandemic, where you deal already with a lot of things, and a lot of my clients were dealing with it. I made the choice to say, I'm going to cultivate resilience, and I'm going to do the way I teach others to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to wear my own shoes, or repair my own shoes, like the shoemaker thing, right? And my wife helped me, and my family helped me to remind me of those things. You need a support system for it. But basically what I did, I say, I'm going to grieve a little bit every day, because I need to grieve. Everybody needs to grieve if you have such a loss. But also, I'm going to cultivate positive emotions. I'm going to find sources of positive emotions. A journal, for example. So I would journal about how grateful I am about certain things in life. I love nature. I go out in nature. It feeds me. It gives me joy. It gives me awe. It gives me interest. I listen to music, do sport, have a dinner with friends and family and things like that. So these were all sources of positivity. And they created an emotional balance for me, that I was able to finish my book in the way I wanted to finish it. I was able to support my family, help everybody else to be resilient, including my clients, and operate at a relatively, let's say, good way, where I felt good. Didn't mean I would not feel negative emotions. I didn't try to suppress them. So that's what I recommend everybody, is saying, don't suppress the negative emotions, pick them up. Here, listen to what they tell you. Like, for example, grieving told me, kind of, maybe I have now in this moment to think about the meaning of all that, right? Find meaning in life. So sometimes grieving a loss helps you to go deeper into the meaning of life. So I explored that a little bit, and that gave me some positive emotions as well.
I think that's a fascinating story, and I applaud you so much for coming through it. The reason why I want people to buy your book, and particularly the chapter on resilience, is that I think the word resilient in the past has been a bit abused. We used to talk about, we must be a resilient business in the UK because there are floods happening, or there's been fires and everything. But really, it's that emotional resilience that has come through extremely strongly as the need from the pandemic, and that's where you deal with it so effectively in your book. So put aside, everybody, your previous thinking about resilience, about putting sandbags up for flooding and things like that, and start to understand where Reiner's coming from in his book. Now, let's give viewers and listeners details for the final time of your URL, which is, obviously, viewers, you can see on the screen behind me, but listeners, let me spell it out again for you. It's all the W's dot Reiner, Reiner, Lomb, Lomb, reinerlomb.com. Reiner's book is called Aspire, 7 Essential Emotions for Leading Positive Change, no matter where you are. So for more details and to order, go to reinerlomb.com/books. I've thoroughly enjoyed reading Reiner's book, and it resonated so well with me. It's so very appropriate, though, in my mind, to the skills that today's leaders need. So thanks, Reiner, for a great BVTV trilogy.
Thank you, Malcolm. It was a pleasure to talk to you.